Okay, well, anyway, this is if I'm gonna do a composition, although my interview probably already. This is the complete history of punk rock and its development on the Lower East Side, 1950 to 1975. We start with Harry Smith in 1950, a beatnik weirdo living in New York City. His huge collections were insane of Easter eggs and paper airplanes and rare records. He had about 1,060,000. To change America through music was his hope, and to make some money because he was broke, he compiled a triple-decker collection of songs from his records, released as the Smithsonian Anthology of American Folk. On a Monday morning, just about 9 o'clock, great ship Titanic began to reel and rock. Husbands and wives, little children lost their lives. Wasn't it sad when that great ship went down? Smith's plan began to work as foretold. This weird music began to take hold. It sparked an interest in these forms of life underground from the norms, and soon millions of folk records were being sold. By the early 60s, Dylan, Baez, Phil Oakes were doing copies of the old folks. Then one strange folk band downtown called the Holy Modal Rounders began to make it more anarchistic with weird voices and drug jokes. Mom's out there switching in the kitchen, and Dad's in the living room fussing and a bitching. I'm out here kicking the gong for euphoria, euphoria. When your mind starts reeling and a walking, inside voices start squealing and squawking, floating around on a belladonna cloud singing euphoria. That was 1964. Then in 1965, Lou Reed and John Cale in a Ludlow Street dive had a similar musical spin, also on acoustic guitar and violin, with even more New York street drug jive. Hey white boy, what you doing uptown? Hey white boy, you chasing our women around? Oh pardon me sir, it's furthest from my mind. I'm just looking for a dear, dear friend of mine. I'm waiting for the man. And then the Rounders met other beatnik intellectual thugs on East 10th Street who called themselves the Fugs. They were recorded by Harry Smith, playing the punkiest songs yet to exist, lo-fi noisy shit about poetry, sex, and drugs. I don't have a bedtime, I don't need to come, for I have become an amphetamine bum. If you don't like sleeping and don't want to screw, then you should take lots of amphetamines too. And Smith recorded 2 Fug sessions, including Tuli Kupferberg's amazing song, Nothing. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday and Thursday, nothing. Friday for a change, a little more nothing. Saturday, once more nothing. Fucking nothing, sucking nothing. Flesh and sex, nothing. The world's great books are a great set of nothing. Social anthropology, nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. The Fugs were real poets with real topics to speak out, and through the underground scene, this weird music could leak out, beginning the punk idea that anybody could do it without needing much musical ability to it, and this new music was soon labeled Freak Out. In '66, the Fugs signed to New York indie label ESP. The same label put out a band called The Gods, spelled with a Z. The Gods accomplished the feat of making even the Fugs music sound sweet, with the least musical folk punk racket in history. Meow, meow, meow. Far from the West Coast hippie scene, New York underground music was far from mainstream. It was intellectual but noisy and hectic, and then the Velvet Underground went electric and made folk punk more refined and more extreme. I'm waiting for the man. Not $26 in my hand. Up to Lexington, 125. Feel sick and dirty, more dead than alive. I'm waiting for the man. And nothing could stop New York's strange folk punk tide. In 1968 came David Peel on the Lower East Side. He recorded an album in the street, screaming and sloppy. Danny Fields signed him to Elektra. It sold almost 1 million copies with songs like I Like Marijuana and Up Against the Wall, Motherfucker Inside. A mother, where is my father? Where is my brother? They're at war. They're at war. You made them join the dirty U.S. Army. You told them all the filthy white lie. You gave them all the bullshit and baloney. Now my brother and my father gonna have to die. And the Stooges were a freak-out band in Detroit, and folks ignored them until Danny Fields brought them to New York and had John Cale from the Velvets record them. While most acid rock was turning into progressive, the Stooges instead pushed the raw and aggressive, and Iggy Pop sang about degradation and boredom. Well, it's 1969, okay? All across the USA. Another year for me and you. Another year with nothing to do. Another year for me and you. Another year with nothing to do. And in 1970, David Peel's second album came with some amazing songs and some a little lame. And most pre-punk histories Peel gets forgot because he was a hippie singing songs about pot. But his second album is the first album with the real sound that electric punk rock became. We are from the Lower East Side. We don't give a damn if we live or die. We are from the Lower East Side. We don't give a damn if we live or die. And even though this was like 7 years before it was something the Clash would do, Peel mixed punk with reggae on the amazing song I Wanna Kill You. We call the people of the future generation. We call the people in a life of demonstration. We call the people in a world of aggravation. We gotta change the world before annihilation. Gonna get a rifle and I'm gonna get a gun. I am out to kill you and I'll have a little fun. I am out to murder you, I'm going to attack. I am out to kill you, you're the monkey on my back. Oh, I wanna kill you. Kill! 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 In 1971, Lester Bangs first writes the word punk to describe 60s enthusiastic teenage rock junk. 72, Lenny Kaye puts out the 60s garage comp Nuggets and coins the phrase punk rock in the liner notes of it, though punk rock would soon come to mean something different from the stuff that Lester and Lenny thunk. Because they meant raw 60s pop songs. I feel depressed, I feel so bad. Cause you're the best girl that I've ever had. I can't get your love, I can't get affection. Oh, little girl, psychotic reaction. And it feels like this. Lenny Kaye was also a guitarist, and he began playing music with an East Side poet named Patti Smith, who would use it to mix wild poetry with simple rock stuff, like the Fugs in a way, but less rough. A postmodern way to take high art and low art and fuse it. Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not mine. Gloria, Gloria. 72-73 is when the New York Dolls start mixing trash and drag fashion with the rock and roll heart. The Johnny Thunders, David Johansen sound mixed old-style simple rock with the new New York underground. It sort of defined the moment when stupid on purpose became the new smart. Yeah, 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 well, you're a prima ballerina on a springtime afternoon. Woo, woo, woo. Change on into a wolf man, howling at the moon. Ooh, about that personality crisis, you got it while it was hot. It's always hot, you know, frustration and heartache is what you got. 75, CBGB's, no wait, what happened first? Oh yeah, Richard Hell began, the Lower East Side began punk fashion as well, with spiked hair, ripped clothes worn by a poet named Richard Hell. He was in Television, the Neon Boys, the Heartbreakers, the Voidoids. He wrote the song that gave the new 70s punk generation its first anthem yell. I was screaming, get me out of here, before I was even born. It's such a gamble when you get a face. It's fascinating to observe what the mirror does, but when I dine, it's for the wall that I set a place. Cause I belong to the blank generation, but I can take it or leave it each time. I belong to the generation, but I can take it or leave it each time. And then CBGB started having punk shows with Television, Patti Smith, and the Ramones. And then 76, punk fanzine begins, and the whole thing moved over to England. England stole all the credit for punk, and that's how it goes to the end. Woo!